The great Albert Einstein once said, quote, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Such a powerful quote that is relevant in so many occupations. The great success stories in the world have probably taken this quote to heart. In order to create a masterpiece or something that leaves an impression on someone for a lifetime, you need a good vision, not just the knowledge to do something. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the vision, the imagination to create such a masterpiece, then you're never going to catch that lightning in the bottle, that elusive lightning in the bottle. Let's take Jaws, for instance. This was Steven Spielberg's biggest challenge. He says that he still has nightmares about it. But the reason it was so difficult for him to make was because he was attempting to do things that no one had the balls to do, or just didn't think it was possible or would pay off in the long run. But he stuck to his guns. He had a vision. He had a vision that he wanted to show. And despite all the challenges, he made this film a success. And this film put him on the map, because he decided to do something as absurd as shooting on the open ocean, which nobody was in favor of except for him. He was the director, and he said, "I'm going to shoot this on the open ocean because this has to be a convincing story about a great white shark, or nobody's going to believe it." While we've had many other shark movies, no other shark movie compared to Jaws didn't give us the emotion and the fear of Jaws, because it was a convincing story, just like Steven Spielberg wanted it to be. He left a lasting impression by making this masterpiece. He did it the way he saw in his vision. He had a vision and he stuck with it. While the knowledge wasn't there for him, because he said himself, he was very inexperienced. He wasn't responsible. He went way over budget on this film, and a lot of people thought it would cost him his career. But his imagination trumped his knowledge. While his knowledge was weak, his imagination was strong, and therefore this movie allowed him to make any movie that he wanted in the future. Indiana Jones, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He was able to do all these because of the success that he had and the challenges that he beat. And he didn't listen to the naysayers. He did what he wanted to do, and that's the reason why he is a success story. Now let's transition from the movie world to the video game world. No matter if you're a Nintendo hater or not, you have to respect the creations, the unique creations that Miyamoto has created throughout the years. Metroid, Zelda, Mario. I guess you could say he is the Steven Spielberg of video games, because he has created all of these things that have had a lasting impression on us. Just like Jaws had a lasting impression on us. Mario, Zelda, who doesn't know these franchises? And just like Jaws was lightning in a bottle, so was Mario 64. Perhaps the greatest Mario game of all time. It is, in my opinion, and I don't think it'll ever be topped. Because it was a novelty, it was something we'd never seen before, an actual 3D world that had all these amazing freedom with controls and everything. And it was just ahead of its time, way ahead of its time. I remember when this game first came out, my friend told me they outdid themselves. They're not going to be able to top this. And that is something that you have to fear when you're making a masterpiece. You're like, well, I'll never be able to top this. And now we come to the meat of this video. What does all of this have to do with EA? Plenty. EA has done the opposite. While the team in the N64 days made this Mario game, they were not afraid to outdo themselves. EA is afraid. They will not make a good football game because they know they can't get any better. They don't want to innovate. They're scared. They fear innovation. I guess because maybe they don't have the talent or the vision. EA doesn't have a Steven Spielberg on their team. But 2K did have one. But they've never been able to make a football game since 2005 because of, well, we all know why. And it's a travesty. And it's such a shame. because, like I said so many times before, we're way behind, and we need to see we're way behind. We need to see what a real football game should look like by now. But EA did make a good football game, but then they got to a point where they said, oh, we're too close to simulation football, we got to start over. So rather than build on what they've already created, which was good in 2005, they decided to go backwards in 2006 for the next-gen consoles. They said, you know what? Let's just start over with new graphics and stuff, and we'll still make $1 on it, and we don't have to innovate because we got the license now. And it worked for them. Unlike Steven Spielberg's masterpiece Jaws, EA doesn't have that kind of vision. They don't have the vision or the desire. Steven Spielberg was trying to save his career, of course, but he still wanted his vision to come to fruition. And it did. But EA, they have no reason to innovate, to give us a masterpiece of a football game, because they don't have an imagination. They don't have an imaginative vision to make us a good football game. All they're trying to do is make $1 on a crappy product that they just kept recycling over and over, and it's never going to stop until we see competition back in the market, because that will instill fear in them, because they'll know, oh, we have to get our ass to work now. Ah, the timeless music of NFL films. Why did they take this out of the game? This is something that was good, and they took it out. Why, I don't know. And this is another reason they just keep taking things out of the game that was good at one time. Why do they continue to do this? You know, you can have the greatest players in the world, but if you don't have good coaching and good offensive, defensive coordinators, you're not going to be as good as a team that does have those things. The team that made this game, I don't know where the hell they went. They need to come back, because this was a solid football game in every aspect. There's only a few minor complaints I have about it, but I can look past them because the game is so damn fun to play. Now, I did have a theory, a couple videos I talked about it, that John Madden was part of the development team, I think, or he had some kind of impact about how the game was going to be looking and everything. Like, he had to look at the game and approve things. He was doing the commentary anyway, so I'm sure he had, you know, a hands-on experience with it and said, you know what, this running animation doesn't look right. Let's do it this way. This looks good. I really believe in my heart that he had a big impact on the good Madden games, because he wanted it to look like real football, just like Steven Spielberg. He's like, this has to be a convincing game. I mean, it has to look like football, or nobody's going to believe it. Just like Steven Spielberg said in his Jaws. He's like, if it doesn't look like football, if the quarterback doesn't drop back, you know, the right way, have the right mechanics, who's going to believe this is a football game simulation? And that is what EA is lacking right now. They are lacking somebody with vision, somebody that wants the game to look good, somebody that's willing to take risks, somebody that says, you know what, I don't care, I want this to look real, you know, let's do something different. But they don't have that over at EA. They lack leadership and somebody that's willing to take a chance and give us a football game that really respects everything about football. And that's the difference between 2K and EA. When 2K made their football game, they wanted lightning in a bottle, and they got it. When we saw that game, we were blown away. Let's be honest. We were all blown away by what we saw. We were like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. I've never seen a halftime show with Chris Berman that looks cool, and I've never seen the animations look so fluid, and you know, everything about the game was just so good. That's because they had a vision, and they wanted it to come to fruition. They made it happen. But once their competitor saw it, they knew they were in trouble and said, oh, we're dealing with a Steven Spielberg here. We got to get rid of him. Instead of placing a hit on him, they just decided to eliminate competition. So EA might have talented programmers. They might have the knowledge to make a football game, but they certainly don't have the imagination. They do not have the imagination, and that's what's more important. Imagination is more important than knowledge, just like the great Einstein said. Where is that imagination? 2K certainly had it. EA, we'll probably never see it from them. I dare say EA will never have that elusive lightning in the bottle. They never will have it because they don't have the vision and they don't have the desire to have it. So, yeah, this is what we're stuck with, guys, until we get competition back. Let me know what you guys think about all this, and enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
They want to limit that type of thing.
Number 23 is there on the stop at the 28. Ball on the 28-yard line.
Ball on the 28-yard line.
The Broncos come out in a dime package. Steps up, gets the pass off. Number 77 comes up to make the play at the 21. 20-yard line would net them a first down here on this third down play. And here's a look at each team's success on third down so far. Quick pass. He went up there and he got it. Number 23 is there for the tackle at the 12-yard line. He recognizes the blitz and gets the ball out for a first down.
Yeah, he saw a good matchup. He made a heck of a throw to get the ball to his receiver.
They line up in the I formation. They're coming with the blitz. Gets it away fast. Touchdown, Kansas City.
This is a good play by the offense in the red zone. The wide receiver is going to break away right here and come up with a catch and the touchdown.
The extra point attempt is good. They've now scored 14 unanswered points.